All right, everybody, welcome in here back to your favorite podcast, the Huskies Unleashed Podcast, presented by Innovation Federal Credit Union. I'm your host, Darnell White, joined by my co-host, Elliot Gabler. Elliot, we finally made it here. How you doing?
I feel great. It was a great start of the season, but it's nice to have a break and kind of wrap things up. Take a look back at some big games, some big moments that happened over the course of the last few months. So
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, the seventh episode here. No guests today, but we've compiled a bit of fun stuff for you guys. So we're gonna start off, I think, with just catching everyone up on how we always do with the Huskies and all the things they've been up to, all the wonderful things they've been up to, and then from there we're gonna look back at our favorite moments from the year for each of our teams, and then a little bit of midseason awards.
yeah,
So should
not
be
without
pretty
its
fun.
controversy.
Not without its controversy. There is some heated debates in the pre-production meetings, but yeah, why don't you get us started here with the weekend recap?
Sure. Yeah, we got 2 weeks to look over here since our last episode, and we'll start on the ice. Women's hockey. 2 weeks ago, suffered a couple losses to Alberta, but this past weekend swept the McEwen Griffins for their first 2 wins of the season. So they are in the win column, and it was not without its dramatic ending to their losing streak. The first game on Friday night took down the Griffins 1-0 in overtime. Jade Cadeau with a really great move to kind of canvas the ice before wrapping around the goalie. It was very exciting to watch that. And then they just blew them out on Saturday, 3-0. So 2 power play goals and a shorthanded goal in that game. So finally got it done. Get to head into the break on a high note. I'm sure they're feeling pretty good right now.
Oh yeah, it's amazing for them get those first couple wins of the year, and sometimes all it takes is 1 or 2, and it can really change your outlook and perspective on the season, and win streaks loading, as some might say.
And then on the men's side, 2 weeks ago they were in Alberta for another pair of big games against the Golden Bears. That was another top 10 matchup. I believe it was 4 versus 9 at the time, or 4 versus 8. Lost the first game, but bounced back with a 5-3 win. Finally kind of got the monkey off their back there with Alberta in their 4th matchup with the Golden Bears. Took them down 5-3. A really strong game all around from the team there, and also huge for playoff implications as well. You keep pace with Alberta, who's just 2 points ahead, and you're still in the running for any tiebreaker scenarios with 2 more games to come on home ice later this year.
Yeah, set themselves up good. That's perfectly said, Elliot. Really big, I think, for them having that bounce back game probably means a lot. And losing the first on the road and being able to win, it's a good sign, especially as we get ready for those playoffs, which they're here before it oftentimes. But yeah, that matchup against Alberta will be a really big one at home, and I'm sure that's kind of what they're going to have their sights set on across the break.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just this past weekend, just an absolutely lopsided weekend. Outscored McEwen 16-2 over the course of 2 games, including a 10-2 win on Saturday. Just all over them. It was complete dominance on Friday. The highlight, I guess, would have been Vince Descavio scored a hat trick. Also, he was named the Canada West Athlete of the Week this week for men's hockey. He kind of led the charge on Friday, and then Saturday it was just everybody getting in on the mix. Eight different skaters with multiple points, and 15 different people got on the score sheet.
Yeah, really, I was there for Saturday's game, and it really looked like, not to say anything against the Griffins players, but it did really look like, potentially playing in a different league out there on the night. Pretty much the Huskies were able to get whatever they wanted, kind of whenever they wanted to do it. So it was very nice to see that passing out there. It was very high level of hockey that they played, and it was fun with the Tugan mitt toss. Happened a bit probably earlier than everyone was expected. If you were a minute late to the game, you would have missed it. It was 30 seconds in. Got a lot of good donations there, and of course going towards benefiting all the kids over at St. Francis. So for a good cause, and the team showed up on the big stage.
Yeah, and I believe that was Liam Keeler who opened scoring there with that goal 30 seconds into the game. He also opened up the second period with like 29 seconds in. So just like a crazy couple starts from him. And another cool thing is he will be representing Team Canada at the 2025 FISU games in January next year.
Yeah, a little trip to Italy there for Liam. I'm sure he's pretty pumped about that, and to represent the nation is always nice. And yeah, actually, I remember against MRU earlier in the year, he also scored a very quick goal. So maybe they've got some sets for him coming out the break. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. We without his services for the first few weekends back on the Canada West regular season, but I'm sure they're okay with that, seeing him go over to represent Canada.
For sure.
Also, I mean, I think we have to shout out Roddy Brassen's performance as well.
Yeah.
2 games in net there.
First time all season.
Yeah, first back-to-back all season, and with the exception of a 25-second blemish in the first period of game 2, he was perfect. So, I think his stats continue to be up there in the top performers of the conference. So, great to see a good weekend there for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can shift our focus over to the courts. Start off with men's volleyball, currently ranked 9 in the country, coming off a sweep of the Thompson Rivers Wolfpack and a split with Manitoba the previous weekend where both matches went 5 sets.
Yeah, men's volleyball continues to have a solid season. I think they're right there in the middle of the pack and trying to prove, they belong maybe in the upper echelon of teams. So yeah, they're continuing to win the games they're supposed to win, and they're drawing the games where they're more evenly matched. So
yeah, I think the big highlight for me kind of from the most recent weekend was Emmett Graham, who I think for the second time this season was named Canada West Athlete of the Week. Just an insane performance on Saturday, 25 kills and hitting the ball at 70%. So he was just dominant on game 2.
Yeah, unblockable Emmett. That's him there. I can't say much. I mean, I was preoccupied this weekend, so unfortunately I missed watching that great performance by Emmett. But I'm excited to see many more in the second half here.
Yeah, and then on the women's side, a couple of tough weekends for them. Lost twice to Manitoba, 3-1. It was the team I think just kind of on that second tier in Canada West, and then. Unfortunately, didn't take a set against Thompson Rivers this past weekend. Lost both matches 3-0. And Thompson Rivers, though, ranked 5 in the country, they're right up there with the best teams in the conference.
Yeah, Thompson Rivers is a good team. Results not surprising. I think again, women's volleyball, it's mostly the focus is on development here. We've got a number of young players who are really finding their own, as we'll talk about more as the podcast goes on. But I think, sometimes the wins and losses aren't the only things to measure success by, and I think they're having a good season so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they will. Their next action, actually, both of the men's volleyball teams are in action over the Christmas break. Women will host a bit of a scrimmage tournament against some Canada West opponents, whereas the men have quite the trip headed down to California. They're taking on Stanford and some other NCAA schools, so exciting for them to get to kind of measure themselves against that competition down south. But shifting over to basketball, men's basketball was on the bye last weekend, so we didn't miss anything. But just this past weekend, dropped 2 tough ones in Kamloops to Thompson Rivers. The first game was incredibly close, came right down to the wire, but some foul trouble with losing some of your starters, I think it really hurt them in that one. And then the second game, they cut it close, but again, just Thompson Rivers kind of took the lead late and ran away with it.
Yeah, it seems to be the story so far for the season for men's basketball. A really tight, close first game, and then kind of get away from them in game 2. So for me, the big thing with them is I'd like to see some, more consistency from the night to night. Mm-hmm. Even, if the wins aren't going to come, it'd be nice to keep playing in those close games. And if you can keep playing in them, the likelihood that you win one goes up. So I think they should have a couple shots here in the next semester, get in the win column. And, maybe, as you win a couple, you get going and you could turn the season around. So
for sure, yeah. I think too. They're a young team. They gotta learn how to win. I think, as well. So now the women had quite the opposite results. Some of the more lopsided wins I've ever seen in youth sports women's basketball in my life. They won 128 on Friday night before coming back with a 96-36 win. Just dominance again. And we saw some records broken as well. On Saturday night's win, Logan Reeder just went off from beyond the arc, scoring 40 points, which is a Husky program record. And she was 11-14 from three, which those 11 makes is both a Husky and Canada West record, and it ties a U Sports record for the most threes made in a single game. So not needed to be said, but she was the Husky and Canada West athlete of the week this week.
Yeah, Logan absolutely lighting it up from beyond the arc, and yeah, we'll play that later and we'll watch through that. But she couldn't miss. It was very do you remember that like Clay Thompson game where he scored I think it was like over 25 and a quarter.
Yeah.
And he just would touch the ball. It was like he touched the ball for like a minute or something. Just her catch and shoot ability is really insane. And yeah, she had everything going on that game, and yeah, it was a treat to watch.
Yeah, it was awesome, and not to discount any of the Friday night performances too. Really, I think defensively a lopsided performance where the Huskies forced 38 turnovers, 28 of which were steals, so they were just locking everybody down. Taya DeMong led the charge with 29 points, and Gage was one rebound away from her second triple-double of the season. So we could have had two crazy record nights, but not great performances nonetheless.
Yeah, dynamic duo we got there.
Yeah,
and of course, up and down the roster, a great, talented team. So
yeah, absolutely. And then we can kind of close things out. We held our premier wrestling event of the regular season, I should say. Husky Duels and Husky Open last weekend. You were there, so tell us about how that went.
Yeah, for sure. You talk about premier events. I think it's one of the duels, certainly a premier wrestling events across Canada. And we're continuing to grow that and continuing to grow the base for that. It was fun. It was cool. You know, you had the player walkouts with the smoke, the flames. We had big Husky dog there, spotlights on the mat. And Huskies came out. They did their thing. I think we went 10 of 13 for the men.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, 10 of 13.
Yeah, so the men really showed out for sure in the duels there. One performance that was particularly stuck out to me from that side was Owen McGilvery. He was down 8-0 to start, which I now know if you lose if you would have given up 2 more points, which is essentially being thrown down to the mat,
right,
then he would have lost.
Right.
So he was down 8-0. This is also in the heavyweight class, so hard to go the distance.
Yep.
And he actually came back for the full 6-minute match and was able to come back against his opponent, and in a really stunning fashion. He had a big time throw that actually almost threw right into the media booth as well. So I was a bit scared about our broadcast there, but yeah, Owen did a great job. I think Judah, he also had a really stellar one. Last fight of the night, came out and shut it down early. So yeah, it was good. And then of course, women's side as well. Some standout performances. Sierra Mullen also taking home the gold in the Husky Open. She did her thing in the duels as well. And then we saw Kaylee Clark get her first action, and she had a really strong couple of performances as well.
Sure, yeah. Fun fact about the Owen's opponent that he threw, he is a second-team All-Canadian guard for the Golf Griffins. So not an easy task to throw that guy around.
Yeah.
And another thing is that that was also a bit of a measure of revenge for Owen, as he lost to Mitch Sessioner is his name.
Yeah.
At the U Sports Nationals last year.
Okay.
And that was another just heavy match. Like, they were going at it, and one of the craziest things I've watched in sport. But yeah, glad for him to get that little bit of revenge this time on his own, or home mat, I should say.
It's interesting that you bring up football too, because one thing I couldn't help. I mean, I don't recruit for the football team, but I couldn't help but notice. I was like, some of these guys are they're built Like I look at Judah a bit and Cole Sanderson, and I'm like, that's a D end right there. Like they'd be pretty nasty off the edge. So if they're looking to do two sports,
I think we have the reverse. We started with football. Elliot Beverage.
Yeah.
So he started with football, and he's going to be on the rest of the team this year. So I think there's definitely some characteristics that go over both ways in those two sports.
For sure.
Well, that finishes up our little recap here. I think the only other piece of news that I think would be worth reporting also comes from our football team here. By the time this airs, it will have been announced that one of the best quarterbacks the program has seen, Mason Nias, will be returning to the program as a assistant head coach and passing game coordinator. So exciting for the team to get an all-time student athlete back on the coaching staff.
Yeah, awesome to have you back, Mason. We're all excited to have you and excited to see what you'll do with this explosive Husky offense. All right, well, we'll step aside, take a short break for a word from our sponsors here on the Huskies Unleashed podcast, and we'll be back in a bit.
Hey Husky fans, Huskies Unleashed is brought to you by Innovation Federal Credit Union. Open a no-fee bank account and earn $50. Simply enter the promo code Husky50 when applying and save about $11 every month. Enjoy free and unlimited Interact e-transfer services. Discover a lifelong bank account that's still free when you're done school. And bank anywhere, anytime across Canada and internationally. Back to the podcast.
All right, welcome back into our podcast studio here at Merle's Belcher Place. We're now going to jump into our top moments of the season. We got a few highlights cooking up from each of our selected top moments and tried to cover all of our teams here. We did cover all of our teams here. We'll start off with men's soccer and their 3-0 win at home versus MacEwan on September 1st.
Yeah, our highlight we chose here for men's soccer was that big 3-0 victory over MacEwan. Biggest victory of the year, both probably in terms of standing wise at the time, and then also in terms of the margin of victory. And it was a bit of a show of like how Ethan Cabral's season went. He did a really good job getting the first goal on the board there for the Huskies. And they rode that momentum, got a 3-0 win, and were able to capitalize on that heading into the next weekend, traveling on the road out to Lethbridge. And I think at that point in time, it was, vibes were really high with the team. They looked good. And unfortunately, due to some injuries, some just, overall quality of the league, season didn't turn out what they hoped for, but this was a fun time to be a Husky soccer fan.
For sure. It was also their first of the 2 wins against MacEwan. They didn't beat 1-0 late in the season, so they got the season sweep against them.
There you go. Hang your hat on that. Anyways, moving ahead now to our other soccer team, women's soccer. They had a very strong regular season, a number of good moments, but perhaps the best one was that 9-0 victory over Winnipeg, which we saw 2 hat tricks. You want to talk to us about that, Elliot?
Yeah, I mean, we both picked the same thing for the biggest moment from this team in their season. And early on the season, they were just 1 win, 1 tie heading into this game. And on their home turf, 9-0 win over the Westmen. And we saw 2 hat tricks from Alyssa Dagnoni and Marie Kilcher. It was pretty crazy too, the way the 2 hat tricks kind of came about. Marie scored the second goal, the second, third, and fifth goals of that game before Alyssa closed the game out with 3 straight. So we knew we had 1, and then all of a sudden Alyssa comes in and within a matter of actually less than 5 minutes of game time scores 3 goals. Just pretty incredible moment to see that in real time in person.
That's crazy. Yeah, it was just such a fun game to be at. I know upstairs in the broadcast booth we were having a difficult time cutting back to replay at a certain point because they were just filling it up so often.
I mean, by the second half they scored 5 goals in 12 minutes. Like that's incredible.
And a good opportunity there early on in the season. The goal-a-thon, it jumped quite a bit after that, so it was nice. I think there was a number of pledges already in at that point, so definitely good for the program.
For sure, yeah, a great win early in the season. What a way to build confidence as you kind of go on. And I think they rattled off 2 more pretty convincing wins after this blowout. So yeah, it's great to see.
Mm-hmm. And also a show of what the team's capable of when they're firing on all cylinders. So I think it does tell me next year there's still another level they could get to. So lots to be excited about there. Moving on now to football, which was the third sport that got started up this year. A bit of a wild ride for the Husky football team this year. A bit of not a bit. It was disappointing at the end, not coming home with the Hardy Cup. But hey, great job to get there, and I think we chose similar moments on this, but we had to pick and choose here because there was a lot.
Oh yeah, there were plenty. I mean, yeah, I think you start the season 1-3, and then to go on that 5-game winning streak, which included one of our or both of our moments actually. Just a pretty entertaining season, and exciting first one for both of us to be covering.
For sure. So we're gonna start here with Dawson Lenny's touchdown against Manitoba. This, I think, was also the point when we really started to think, okay, this team has a chance. Facing undefeated Manitoba at the time, which were the heavy favorites going into the game. And yeah, it was with Saskatchewan up 11-0. Pass right there and off a couple defenders and right into the waiting arms of Dawson Lenny, who takes it the distance. That's the type of luck you need in football sometimes. And yeah, they got it there.
Yeah, incredible awareness from him to kind of keep his eye on the ball there, and it really just fell into his hands. So, but just perfect place at the perfect time, and 82-yard score, and helped a lot on the way to that huge upset win over undefeated Manitoba at the time.
82-yard score for number 82. There you go, fun fact of the day.
Actually, that's a very nice yard score. Sorry about
well, that. The fact becomes less fun.
I just saw that. Stats here.
Okay. Fact becomes less fun, but more yards for Dawson.
Yeah.
I don't think he's worried. Now, the other moment we had picked out, maybe not one moment on its own, but that incredible, thrilling comeback.
Yeah. So moments lasting a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the incredible turn of events there that, led to down 9 with a minute and a half left, and then we have the interception fumble, we have the Ursi touchdown, we have the Riker going 56 yards in 6 plays or 4 plays, however many it was, and to lead to that very unlikely win at one time. So just an awesome way to punch your ticket to the Hardy Cup.
What was the moment for you that you thought it was going to happen?
That's a tough one. The interception fumble, at that point you think someone's on your side, whether it's the football gods or luck or whatever. But I think when Ursa scores that touchdown, I think when he gets open on the sideline there, and you cut the lead to 7 with 30 seconds left, and you're like, well, we hit an onside kick against them earlier in the season, so I feel decently good about the chances going for an onside kick as much as good as you can, and so I would say it was kind of that play.
For me, I'd honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I would say when Ursi popped the ball out, because it did at that point. I was like, before that, I was like, okay, this game's over. And even though it didn't lead to a major score, it was like, okay, if this is happening right now, like we're gonna win. Like it's just there's too much crazy stuff that's happening on this field, and it did give me confidence in the fact that I was like, you know what, there's some areas where I think the Huskies are the ones that want to win this game more. So I had thought we had a really good shot after that, and then after the onside kick was recovered, it was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think yeah, I mean, it's hard not to look at that play for sure. I mean, that was really the play that sparked it. So yeah, but just an incredible series of some massive plays this season.
Moving on now to the cross country team. Both solid individual performances and also solid team performances. We'll start with the Dakota Classic earlier in the season. This was the moment I had selected. For me, just a really fun weekend. Really cool to see everything all come together. I know we talked with Jara and Jason, had them both on the podcast. Learned about a lot about the history of the event and its importance. So it was really cool to get out there and out to Dakota Dunes, see just, how much it meant to all the athletes who were part of it, and also to the community in general. Then we had the group from New Zealand out there as well, and actually my parents were able to make the trip up as well, so got to spend the day with them within the context of a busy season. So it was just a nice environment to be in overall.
For sure, I wasn't able to be there, but it looked like an incredible event. For me, my moment was men's cross country, earning bronze at the Canada West Championships. First time in 22 years they've gotten to a podium position there. So quite the turnaround for the program. They've been close the last 2 years, but just able to finally kind of punch that ticket through was pretty cool to watch. Or see the photos afterwards. It wasn't a stream, so not watch, but yeah, and I think it was Alexander Webster and Quincy Fast who kind of led the charge for that, with Anthony Atea, Kane Deck, and Jacob White also kind of rounding out the scoring positions. So yeah, really cool to see that. I know our head coach Jason Randall was pretty happy to see that. I think they expected to get on the podium this year, but to see that come to fruition was very cool.
Oh yeah, it's great for the program overall, and yeah, for the athletes that they work so hard. And I always see them as I'm coming into the university. I always see them out there training and running around outside, and it could be super cold out, could be very early in the morning, and they're putting in those hours. So nice to see their hard work all pay off.
For sure.
And now next up we have hockey. So heading over to hockey. Let's start with our women's hockey team.
Right.
Elliot, what's your moment of the year?
It's a very recent moment. Their sweep of McEwen. I mean, coming into that game winless, I think we kind of knew that would be their best chance to get into the win column. And just to see them punch through and get that done, and then not only that, but sweep with a lopsided win on the Saturday game. But yeah, we see that there, the overtime winner, just a great move, and you can see how much that first win meant to the team by their reactions. So that was very cool to see, and then the come out on Saturday and follow that up with 2 power play goals and a shorthanded goal was awesome. Felt really good for them to get into that win column, especially you head into the break now and you're feeling good about yourselves, and kind of build off that from there.
Yeah, like you said, you can just see the excitement on everyone's faces. The ref actually had to hold them back.
Yeah, not okay.
Yeah, I know. I would have preferred, let it happen. And, but yeah, great end to the regular season for them. And
it was. I mean, kind of just go back to that overtime winner. Just really impressive goal, and fun to see. So.
Yeah, so my moment, maybe not as happy a moment for the Huskies, but I decided to go with the marathon shootout from early in the season. So I'm just going to pull this up right here. And yeah, we had a couple big time saves from Colby to extend it. I know getting into this game was into the position, we had scored a couple late goals right at the end of the third period, and it was just a fun broadcast to listen to. I think too was having some fun on the call there. I believe it was John Flatters was part of that team. I think it might have been Matt Young as well. Both of our broadcasters, part of our broadcast team here, and yeah, a couple really nice goals there in the shootout against a ranked team, and unfortunately just came just a little bit short. But I think this really showed, this team, this women's hockey team, they're not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting. They're going to keep grinding it out. They're going to play to the end of the whistle, and yeah, I think that set them up well for this season.
For sure, yeah, no, great moment for sure. And yeah, to your point, they scored 3 goals in that third period after being down 3-0 to force the shootout. So just what led up to it, and then actually watching the shootout, yeah, very, very great time for them this season.
All right, now heading over to the men's hockey side. So for me, I picked their win against MRU. So at the time, MRU was undefeated heading into the game. And we had just lost to them last night, an extremely physical game.
Yeah.
This game was also extremely physical. And, it was an energetic building, a lot on the line here. And yeah, they were able to pull it out. Huskies were able to defeat MRU. And I think for me, that really, showed me, we're going to be a team to contend with in this conference here. And yeah, just again, the ability to come back after dropping the first one at home and their want to defend the ice. And yeah, it was, again, a very physical game that had a lot of emotion out there. And I personally had fun as I was parked in the suicide box for most of the game. So a lot of the action was happening right in front of me. So might be a bit biased there, but yeah, that was my moment so far.
Yeah, no, that was a great win. It was it was at that game too, and yeah, definitely no love lost between those teams, especially on night 2 of their doubleheader. And yeah, just we saw 2 goals in 2 minutes by us, and then in the first to open the period, and then they respond immediately with 2 goals in less than a minute. So just a crazy back and forth game, and you're going up against a U Sports ranked team, a really competitive team in the conference. So to get that split on that weekend was big for them.
And your moment, also a split on the road against a ranked U Sports opponent.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. Why'd you choose it?
Yeah, I mean, this one was the second time they'd seen Alberta this season. They dropped the first 2 games. It was the 4th game this season between the 2 teams. And I think to get that win, not only big in the standings, but just the effort and that they showed in that game to stay ahead of the Golden Bears the whole time and end up pulling out the win. It was a really, really fun game to watch. And yeah, I think they scored some great goals as well. So
that one right there. Speed on that one.
Yeah, it was no doubt. It was. I think too, getting that in their barn was what is exciting as well. I mean, I'm sure they enjoyed that a little bit, but yeah, I think Josh Pillar probably this sort of standout performance there. We just saw the 1 goal, just 2 absolutely ripped wrist shots to not only put the Huskies up by a goal early, and then also to stretch that lead to 2 late in the game. So yeah, I thought that was an awesome win, fun to watch.
For sure, and yeah, it'll be fun to focus, I think, a bit more on men's hockey coming up in the second semester with less sports going on.
Yep,
they're having a really good season.
Yeah, we do get to see them for the next 2 times, both at home ice. So yeah, they'll be huge games for playoffs, tiebreakers, everything. Yeah,
no doubt. And now, what started next? Was it basketball or was it volleyball? Either one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to volleyball then. So we'll stick with the women's sports to start, and we'll head over to your pick, Elliot, for women's volleyball. Moment of the first semester for you.
Yeah, mine was a perfect weekend against Brandon in Brandon. They swept them straight set wins to back-to-back nights. Just really dominant. I mean, the first night they held them to 17, 15, and 21 points to win that game, and then Brandon showed a little bit more of a fight in game 2, as you can come to expect with those doubleheaders. But really cool for them to get those big wins, and at the time send them to a 500 record after getting swept by MRU the previous weekend. And so yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun to watch them watch them celebrate so much and get those big wins.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking through all these ones, and yeah, they've played like a really strong performance there. Like you said, having a ton of fun out on the court is always good to see. For me, I decided to go with actually opening weekend, and go with they flipped the script on the University of Regina, which at the time was also a pretty big win in the U Prairie.
Yes,
Prairie standings, and had a lot on the line there, and yeah, it was good because they lost 3-0 the first one, first night on Friday, and then just the ability to come out Saturday afternoon and really show their mark and play a high quality game of volleyball, I think was important, and once again set the tone for how their season would go.
For sure, yeah. There were some great performances in that game. It's not often in like the 3-0 sweep you see 30 players with 10+ points. Normally those are pretty quick, and there's one or two kind of leading the charge. But yeah, Hannah Taryn, Abby Klein, and
Taryn
Hannah. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm reading it backwards on here.
easy mistake.
The three of them, with standout performances that game. So yeah, I definitely agree that was one of the better moments they've had this season for sure.
Most definitely. Now, next up we have got men's volleyball. So Elliot, you have on here their 5-set win versus Manitoba.
Yeah, I mean, that one really comes down to just kind of being in that building and being there for the wins. The crowd was super into it, and just watching them kind of battle through that unfortunate loss on night one to come back and take that game 2 and another super dramatic game was a lot of fun to be there for.
Yeah, actually, I have the same one as you for this one, so we agreed on this. I think really the moment, and yeah, you can see the emotion and the energy and just how much it meant to all the guys out there. And like you said, coming back from a disappointing loss, I think this team is one that I'm keeping my eye on. I'm keeping my eye on this team for a team that could really step up in the second semester and rattle off a pretty big win streak.
For sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think the other thing too with this game is they were a little shorthanded too, so they kind of battled through some adversity was great to see.
Mm-hmm. Now over to the basketball court, we have women's basketball, which
there's different
elements to choose from. There's lots to choose from here, so I think we stole yours, or we both kind of worked together to go with ours, but you had Gage Garasic triple-double versus Manitoba.
Yeah, I mean, not every day you see a triple-double on either the men's or women's sides of youth sports basketball, but to see that, like, she was just doing it all. I mean, you have to be to get a triple-double, but in a blowout win, not dominant win against Manitoba, just showcasing all of her skill and ability, and to be able to be there and see the first ever Husky women's basketball triple-double was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. As we see there, her holding the shot form on that one. Just a great all-around performance for Gage, and we've seen her now come close to getting another triple-double, and I think that's just really an evolution of her game throughout the years, and now she's in the position where she is able to affect the game on all those different levels, and that's not even to talk about her defensive ability, but she's also very skilled on that end, and often will come up with a couple of steals as well. Just awesome to view that performance.
For sure.
Another record-breaking performance was our other moment of the year, which was Logan Reeder's 40-piece. On the road in Thompson Rivers, including 11 threes. We talked about it a bit before. Do you want to share your thoughts on it now?
Yeah, I mean, another just, being able to watch that game live was just incredible. Like watching seemingly every time she pulled up from beyond the arc, she was just draining it. And there were some deep threes going down too. So
she almost hit it from like half court at one point. I saw
she had all the confidence in the world that night. And it's one of those kind of moments where you're watching an athlete who just feels, I assume they feel like they just can't be stopped. So just really, really fun to watch that. And again, watching a piece of Husky history is always special.
Yeah, I think, we're definitely gonna have to have Logan and Gage on the podcast talk about this in the future. But yeah, it's just I love watching the ball go in, and yeah, I love watching her shot. It's just a very nice looking one. So
yeah, absolutely, it was incredible. Kind of wish we could have seen that one on our home platform. Unfortunately, it happened down in BC, but nonetheless exciting to watch it on Canada West TV.
Of course. Now, moving over to men's basketball, we both picked the same one for this. I think staying on the topic of shooting is Dylan Miller. He's been a standout this year from beyond the arc for the Huskies men's team.
Yeah.
I'll talk a bit about some of the videos here if you want to pull up the stats from his season so far. As I go and pull that up. We're here live, folks. We're here live. Yeah, what you've seen is completely live. And yeah, he's done a good job of, I think, really being ready to shoot and taking those difficult shots too. I think is the big thing I've been impressed with. He's not afraid to go up with it, and he's trusts his shot. And again, he's a pure shooter. It's all there's really to say about it.
No, I agree. Yeah, there's been some pretty impressive contested shots that he's hit, and I think. He's another young player on that team, and to kind of see him develop is going to be really exciting. And just super impressive. Number 2 shooter from outside the arc right now in the country. And if you take into attempts, then he's probably the number 1. But shooting at 69.2% right now, which is pretty crazy. 18 of 26 on the season. Definitely been a highlight of their season so far this year, and I think eventually we'll see him lead them to a win, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. It just takes that one night, right? Yeah, you just gotta get hot for one night. And I think they'll do more to get him involved. I think they look back, reflect on the stats. Just probably say let's get Dylan some more shots there. I think that wraps it up. Except for one more team, the team that we just saw on our home mats, the wrestling team.
Yes, not an awesome night for them, winning the Husky duels at home in front of a pretty raucous crowd, and took that win 54-34 with some really impressive performances.
Mm-hmm. And I think we both kind of put Husky duels overall.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about it before, but Owen McGilvery's I think that was the highlight for me of everything. But also just shout out to everyone who came out, and even the first years. I think maybe they didn't always get the results they expected, but for them just to have that moment and be on that stage in front of the fans and all the kids there, the pups that came out big time to support everyone. So it was just fun overall. That wraps up our highlight package from the season. Shout out to Bryn, who did an excellent job pulling everything all together, making it more interactive than it would have been. So thank you, Bryn, for that. We'll toss again to another break and another word from our sponsor. You're watching Huskies Unleashed Podcast, sponsored by Innovation Federal Credit Union.
Hey, Husky fans. The Huskies Unleashed Podcast is brought to you by Innovation Federal Credit Union. Now offering no essay scholarships. Need help with education costs minus the hassle of writing that dreaded scholarship essay? Well, you're in luck. Enter for a chance to win one of 4 monthly $1,000 scholarship draws or our $10,000 scholarship draw. Just head on over to innovationcu.ca and do the application from there.
So we're back here for our major awards. Now, these are different than the Husky major awards. These are the Husky Unleashed major awards.
At the halfway point.
At the halfway point, midway through the season. So they don't hold any bearing on the final decision.
No.
And yeah, it's just meant to be kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
We probably should have thought of maybe some more fun awards we could have given out, but
Yeah. Yeah.
well, we'll stick to the basics with the male and female athletes of the year through the midseason mark. So, Elliot, who are our nominees?
All right, so for the men's athlete of the half-point way of the year, well, I've heard the title too, is Riker Frank from Husky football, Dawson Holt from men's hockey, Emmett Graham from men's volleyball, and Judah Arthurs from men's wrestling.
All right, so case for Riker is he set the new all-time rushing touchdown record for the history of the program. He also had over 1,000 yards all-purpose for the season, and really carried a lot of the offensive load for the Husky football team this year.
Yeah, finished second in the conference in rushing, 952 yards, one of only 2 running backs to hit double-digit touchdowns. Second team All-Canadian, Canada West All-Star. So yeah, he's got a pretty good resume.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And then we got Dawson Holt, who obviously they are actually only halfway through their season. I guess Riker's got a bit of an advantage because they haven't completed their season. But Dawson currently right now tied for the top spot in Canada West scoring with 22 points on the season. Huskies are 12-4-0 and second in the East Division.
I think Dawson's got a strong case to make. Of course, yeah, he's still got another half a season to play, but I think also team record factors in really well here. He's got the Huskies playing some great hockey right now.
Yeah, definitely. And then Emmett Graham, men's volleyball. I believe he's the team leader in kills and potentially points, but maybe not points. I think Isaiah might have more points. He missed a couple games. But he's been super efficient all season. A big part of their success when they do pull out the wins. So yeah, I think he's been pretty great this year.
Well, yeah, two Canada West Player of the Week. That's got to count for something. And he's, I think, just kind of shows you in volleyball, once you get that guy and you get that guy rolling, then good things happen. So yeah, good season so far for Emmett, and see how he closes up. He's got a shot at it, though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Then we got Judah Arthurs.
Yeah, Judah, he had some solid finishes, I believe both at the Dino Open, as well as their trip down to the States, and then followed that up with some really good wrestling at the duels. And Open, he captured a bronze medal, but he's been solid as a rock all year, and I think he's going to be contending in the U Sports finals for a medal this season.
Yeah, I mean, again, the same case with Emmett, but Emmett, Judah, and Dawson all still have half their season to go, so expecting some big things, and I'm sure they'll. It's easy to pick Riker right now, but again, he's got a full season under his belt, and he's got quite the advantage in that case.
For sure.
Now going to the women's side.
We got a vote.
Okay.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Riker, right? Okay, sounds good. Okay, so Riker, you got the Huskies Unleashed Midseason MVP award.
All right,
sure you'll hang that one up on your wall.
Yeah, that was second team All-Canadian.
Yeah,
side by side. Okay. Women's athlete of the year. We've got Gage Grassick, Logan Reeder, Alyssa Dagnoni, and Taryn Hanna. Missed the sports on that one, so Logan and Gage from women's basketball, Alyssa women's soccer, and Taryn from women's volleyball. Yeah, I mean, we've gone over a lot of why Gage and Logan would be on here. Record-setting performances. Their team's in a great spot in terms of conference standings, ranked 6th in the nation. Yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say about those two.
No, I think we've covered it. Everyone knows why they're on this list. Alyssa Dagnoni, you want to talk about her a bit?
Yeah, sure. Led the team in scoring or goals scored this season. She also climbed the Husky record books. I believe she is 3rd or 4th all time now. I think it's 3rd all time in goals scored. So on offense. Tons of offensive output helped them to a playoff berth as well. So, definitely deserving of being on here.
Mm-hmm. And moving over to our last one, Taryn Hanna. She had a couple of really strong weeks. Two-time Husky athlete of the week this season, and she's really stepped up for her team this year.
Yeah, definitely the leader on offense for sure, and I know she ranks among the more productive hitters in the conference. 3.44 kills per set, sixth out of her competition among Canada West. So yeah, she's had some great performances this year.
Awesome. Well, I think we're ready to vote.
All right. Yeah.
Ready?
So it's a bit tougher.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Logan. All right. Well, I think we need a deciding vote here. If there's only one person in the room who could answer that.
Oh, but then the pressure's on me.
That's
I don't like it.
That's tiebreaker.
Yeah. I will actually, I pick a number between 1 and 2, and whatever I can get. Yes.
No, doesn't work like that.
It could work like that.
No, it's not going to.
Mhm. I'd say Gage, because I feel like there's been more consistency. Like I feel like every game she's just like top dog up there.
That's exactly.
Okay, well, there you have it. Gage Grassick wins the Huskies Unleashed Women's Athlete of the Year Midseason Top Dog Award. So doesn't get much better than that, Gage. And yeah, keep up the good work to all the athletes. Talked about here and everyone else putting the work in.
Yeah, might have to talk to some people about getting a Huskies Unleashed Podcast award, a legitimate award at the end of the season.
Honestly, I think we should. I think we should also think about some other fun ones we could do there.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty fun to get those out, I think.
yeah, I'm sure we can come up with some ideas. We've had some crazy plays this year, so there's probably plenty of fun.
Awesome. Well, Elliot, what else do you have to say? Anything else you want to say before we get out of here for about a month and a half?
I don't think so. We'll be back early January. Husky Athletics returns on the 10th and 11th of January. We've got several sports in action that first weekend. But yeah, other than that, hopefully you'll see you back then.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. I would say just, if you're enjoying this podcast, tell your friends about it. It'd be great, to see more people enjoy this and for those viewership numbers to go up. So yeah, we haven't said much about it all year, but yeah, if you're watching the podcast, consider sharing it with some other people and help us spread the word out there.
I think how they say like and share.
Yes. Like, comment, tag your friends, do all those things. And then some.
Good stuff.
And who knows, we might create a draw or something for you, but not right now. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next year. Happy holidays. I'm Darnell Webb.
I'm Elliot and Darnell.
And this is the Huskies Unleashed podcast, sponsored by Innovation Federal Credit Union.